Hey y'all, it's Chimdi. So a while ago, I had a whole ass creative coach. I was like, are we gonna start cursing right away? Yes. Yeah, a while ago, I had a whole ass creative coach business that I was trying to launch. I made a series of videos to like get folks interested. And then at some point I realized that essentially I was only really doing the coaching. Well, I was doing the coaching because I was trying to create an online course, but I didn't know what my online course would be about. So I was like, what I'll do is I'll coach people first. And after coaching enough people, I'll figure out what it is that they need help with. What are some of the themes, the trends? And then from there, I'll synthesize that down into an online course, and then that will be the course that I then sell to people. And the only reason I was even doing this is because a rando emailed me and was like, have you considered doing a course? And I was like,
why would I do a course? Who cares?
And then I got convinced into realizing that no, like even, and that was back when I had around like 3K subscribers. The person was saying like, yeah, even with that relatively small following, you could still have a really successful course. So all that to say that I do love coaching and helping and supporting people, but my motivations were a little bit off. And so I decided to basically stop promoting myself as a coach. And if folks reached out and they were like, hey, can I just talk to you and just like process this creative thing with you? I'd be like, sure. But I wouldn't like use that framing of I am a coach. I haven't done any of my little preambles, so let me first say welcome. My name is Chimdi. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Join me on Patreon. Thank you to the Patreon producers. Y'all are the best. All right, back into the video. All this to say, I now have my first paid coaching client, and it didn't come from any sort of aggressive promotional campaign or sales calls or anything else. It just came from me doing what I've been doing, which is creating, putting out content, inspiring people. It just feels strange to claim inspiration as a thing that I do, but I'll be out here doing it, y'all, so it's all good. So yeah, I got my first creative client and we've been working together for a few weeks now, and it is really cool. And it made me think, you know what? I should let the people know that actually, if you would like some coaching, I am open to coaching you. And one thing that we talked about when we first got on our first call was, what exactly is a creative coach? And you know, being alive is inherently creative. We are creating our reality and we're co-creating it with everyone else in the world. And so to say that I'm a creative coach is not at all narrowing it down. And I'm gonna continue to not narrow it down. Like, I'm not gonna narrow it down any further. What I have found though is that my clients that I really tend to vibe with tend to be Black women. They tend to be Black women of faith, because we talk a lot about the Holy Spirit and the way we are creative because God is trying to move in our lives and create dope stuff with us as the vessel that is co-creating with Him, you know? And it tends to be folks who maybe have a traditional job, maybe they've taken a break from it, maybe they know it's not really their purpose and their passion, and instead there's something creative they want to do. So my first test client was the wonderful Lakeisha Jordan, who is an interior designer. We used to work at the same job. Also, I love how many former coworkers I have had videos with on my channel. That makes me very happy, and it speaks to the fact that even though that organization was trash, it hired some dope people. It hired some really, really dope people. And y'all, I want to make a separate video about how trash that organization is, because they literally just like fired like a third of their staff with the quickness. But you know, part of me is like, is that my business? You know, I don't work there no more, but I might make a strongly worded LinkedIn statement. We'll see. But yeah, so she was my first like client. And when we first connected, when I first started working there in 2017, I had a YouTube channel then, and she was saying like, oh, you know, I've got all this creative stuff that I want to be doing. And it was a while. It took years, you know, until both of us kind of started investing further in the stuff that we were actually called to do. And I found in that circumstance that really what I really do as a coach is I provide a space and a container for inspiration and encouragement. So essentially what I do here on my YouTube channel only is specifically focused on you and what it is that you are trying to do creatively. So folks, like I said, have done like interior design, they've done like fashion, they've done writing, they've done creating videos. So all different ways of creative expression. And essentially what I do is just say like, yeah, you can do it. Like, you can do it. It's gonna be great. You're blessing us. You're giving us a gift, you know, being that supportive person. So if that's what you would like, if you would want someone to coach you and to encourage you, then go ahead. And what I wanted to share around the creative coaching is actually my relationship to payment, money, being paid for being a coach. So because in the beginning, it was just about the money, I was charging like thousands of dollars. Having not coached, I did coaching in my last role, but it was specific leadership development coaching. I hadn't done creative coaching in this way, and I still was like,
yeah, run me a couple G's for that.
You know? And I see how that's a hard sell. And also I just had don't think I'd really proven myself yet. But what's amazing about this book I read around creating value is that, I'm assuming you've watched all my other videos, y'all. I read this book called The Go-Giver that talks about how it's really important to create value. And what I realized is that what I want to do is create value, and that what really is successful, leads to long-term success, is creating value beyond the price that you are charging people, like just ultimately providing them with the best value possible. And so when this woman reached out to me and was like, hey, I'd be interested in coaching, let's talk about, prices and all that, I was very much like, honestly, like, what can you afford? Like, I wasn't trying to get some like huge payday, in part because I was no longer relying on YouTube or coaching as like a main source of income, and so I could hold it lightly. It wasn't about like, I really need to lock down this client so I can pay my bills, right? And so she offered an amount, and it was so interesting because I then negotiated down lower, which I'm just like, is that trauma? And it must be. But I think what it also was a fear of, I'm pretty sure I'm great at being supportive and inspirational to people, but I'd rather have it be, they be paying less and me be over delivering than them paying a certain amount and I'm like not up to that amount in terms of my inspiration. And I think the idea that I wouldn't be up to that amount is the trauma, that is the fear that's keeping me from collecting my coins. But it was really helpful for me to understand. It really mirrored back to me, oh, this is actually where you are when it comes to healing your relationship to money. Because I've wanted to make a video for a while about my relationship to money and how I'm healing it through all these different resources and practices and vision boards and all these different things. And I found that there was just still so much healing to do. And I think I still will go ahead and share some of the resources I'm using because I think they are helpful and they have helped me. But that experience, which was truly only a couple weeks ago, reminded me like, you actually still got some work to do when it comes to that. I'm learning as I go, and I'm just really excited to have my first paying client because I honestly I wouldn't say that I put it to bed as an idea of something I'd be doing, but I wasn't promoting it anymore. I wasn't advertising anymore. I wasn't looking to, you know what I mean? There was nothing else I was really trying to do when it came to that. And I made that video about my streams of income and the ones that I had proposed for the year 2022. Coaching was not listed on them. Like, I wasn't even thinking that it would even be a way that I would make money. I thought I'd make more money from an online course, which still has not been created. We'll see about that. We'll see where the spirit leads me on that. Then I would coaching, and here we are early in the year, and I already have a paid coaching client, which is really exciting. So basically, this is a really long promo for me being your coach if the spirit leads you. And if it doesn't lead you, you can just keep watching my videos and just getting the vibes from that. But I think you know what it's like when you have someone really dedicated to you. Also, my favorite thing about being where I'm at in my YouTube career is that y'all know anyone can make a YouTube channel. You just make one and then start putting up videos, so it's very chill. To me, it's like having an Instagram page. You just make it and then your photos are there. Like, what else is going on? But I'm at the point now where I've been doing it for long enough and I've got a big enough audience that when people just like see me on a Zoom call, they're just like, it's you. And I'm always just like, yeah.
It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal, but I'm like, wow, I guess for some people it's a big deal, which is cool. And it's giving me a lot of perspective, which I also really appreciate. Just to let y'all know, I'm coaching again. If you want some creative coaching, I'm healing around money, and I'm gonna talk to y'all about that in a separate video. And I'm really excited to see what 2022 brings because it's already surprising me. All right, y'all, hope you like this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to see more. Join me on patreon.com/Chimdi, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.